Okay. Um, got a couple of emails to go through. People are looking at this, and people are looking at this. Bit of fun overnight with some news on Japan. Hasn't really hit the headlines, but I did see it on the newswire that they think stimulus is overrated all of a sudden. And so the old yen dropped 180 pips in 10 minutes. It was fun. Um, at the same time, you also had Putin announcing that he and Ukraine have reached an agreement, which is funny because up until now, Putin was saying he's not involved in the Ukraine. Anyway, that's politics for you. Also, around the same time, Sweden um, went into negative interest rates and announced a quantitative easing. So that all saw a bit of US dollar weakness or unrolling of safe havens. So that's why um, the yen sort of weakened or strengthened. Sorry, US dollar weakened quite a bit, and we saw later in the evening Carney come out and talk, and he was all very positive and bullish, which was great. And the pound decided to rally as it should and as it was going to. Oil saw some weakness. We should also look at the euro pound. Yeah, we should. Oil saw some weakness as well overnight. I'll show you that. You guys may or may not have this. I don't know. Oil bounced a bit overnight. Still under this sort of resistance level, but we saw some Canadian strength and knock strength as well off the back of that. So let's go into your emails, and we'll start at the latest one, which was Kiwi Sing. Yeah, bit difficult to look at it now. Might have been looking good yesterday when these emails came in. Was that a ring high? It was setting up as a ring high. And that's why we wait for that bar to finish before getting involved, really. Um, before getting involved, really, with placing orders, waiting for this bar to finish, um, so we know if the sentiment is really actually there and we have rolled over. Uh, Then a bar ended as an engulfing bar, so it throws this trade out the window. But looking at that setup at that point in time, you'd be going, yes, this is starting to look like a decent trade, and you've got everything there that you need. You've got your horizontal, effectively parity. Notice you say 105. I'd make it parity. Um, High test bar, ring high at that point. It was EMA 50, yeah, fib retracement. Yep, it's all looking good. I noticed that you've got your hidden divergence in here. Just be aware that I don't really use hidden divergence on the first cycle because it's always going to be effectively hidden on the first cycle. Um, it's effectively going to be hidden divergence on the first cycle. So you've got here two cycles above the moving average and then a cycle underneath it. Um, so I don't really use it on the first one. I don't think it's necessary or effective. Okay, but yeah, that was looking good. Obviously, overnight news has destroyed that, and all the Kiwis getting bullish, all the commodities sort of having a bit of a run. That's turned around now. Now you've got to leave it alone. You're not sure which way it's going. It could be stuck in a range. It's a little hard to tell at this stage, so I'd wait to see what the sentiment's going to do over the next couple of days before looking at that again. Got another one also looking at the Kiwi thing, and again it was looking good. Come out of this little channel, looking okay. You've got your fib from there, from the top of that. Ring high formation, high test bar, horizontal again, make it parity. Yeah, you've got all the exact same reasons. This guy's really annoying me. You're doing my head in, friggin' rogue traders. Okay. So yeah, you've got all the same reasons, but obviously that's null and void. The only other emails I've got, well, I've got Mark's. I'll go through his, but that's those two. The only other email I've got is the Euro knock. Email. So, been looking at the weekly, suggests it's poised off a good support level. Yeah, my problem with this one is, well, there's no real problem, is oil. And being exposed to that, it's a bit sort of whippy at the moment. This looks like it's going reasonable. I do suspect a bit of a bounce in the euro. I think the Greece issue is going to sort itself out, and we'll see a bit of a bounce in the euro. So what do you said? The weekly, looking at the weekly, poised for reversal off a good support level, good cyclicity on the daily. It's currently sitting on the 200 for support, which is the support level on the weekly as well, and the 78.6 fib retracement. Price is currently sitting below the 50, but getting support, it would seem, off the 200. That's cool. Hasn't retraced to the up trend line drawn, but I think the support level is getting in the way of this potential hitting. Yeah, trend lines I don't think are all that. Yeah, your horizontal level here is obviously stronger. Your target is ambitious. Possibly. You know, it's been there before. This was as oil was tanking, but it was also the Russian, because Norway sits right next door to them. This was more about the Russian news. This spike up. Russia seems to now come to terms with the Ukraine, and therefore maybe the sanctions are going to be reduced, and Russia's going to start turning around. Something to consider. I'm thinking, yeah. But if you're trailing your stop up behind it anyway, you might get enough out of it. Look, fundamentally, I don't know about this one. The knock, I think, is, whilst I do see strength coming into the euro, the knock, I don't know how that's going to. That's the unknown to me. So, looking at this, you said the weekly was. There certainly is a level there, granted, across here. It might be a bit lower, sort of in there somewhere. Maybe a little bit of a zone in there. But historically, we're on the top side of things. And we can see, going back into the 90s, doesn't spend a hell of a lot of time above this level. It could sort of be, you could be looking at something like that, and you might be able to get it back above 9. Don't know if that where your target was. Where was your target? Around 9.8. Yeah, that might be ambitious. Getting it back up here. Yeah, maybe look at a target somewhere in here. Weekly, you suggest, is reversing off this. Yeah, certainly seems to have more upside momentum than downside. Long-term trend line, it's not going near it. That doesn't mean diddly to me. And coming to the daily, where'd you get in? Above that bar, okay. So you got in above this bar, so you're in the money. That's good. Yeah, just because of the monthly, not spending a hell of a lot of time above this 80, 85 level here, this zone. I'd be probably moving my target to here or maybe even here. In terms of risk reward, that's still good. This spike up here, as I said, was Russian. I think the last time was in '98. It was the last time Russia had issues. 2008, well, that was the GFC. Everyone was getting stuffed. But yeah, this was the last sort of recession, so to speak, and Russian problems. And as I said, they've come to an agreement on the Ukraine overnight, and perhaps that their sanctions will be lifted, and Russia will turn, and knock should turn with it. Oil price going down to 20 was the call. Whether or not it's going to get there, it seems to have formed a bit of a base at the moment. So I can't say it's sort of getting back to 100, but sort of cycling between 40 and 60 is certainly what I see in oil. And therefore, the knock is probably not going to weaken a hell of a lot more. Therefore, yeah, I think your target might be probably too far. And other than that, yeah, all good. Euro pound, certainly there is there is divergence here on the euro pound. When I'm talking divergence, I'm talking about the difference in fiscal policy or fiscal position. Europe is weak and has quantitative easing, and they need to induce more quantitative easing. The UK, if you listen to Carney, brilliant economist, brilliant central banker, and I don't say that about many, but listening to him was, he's very bullish and expects interest rates to be going up within the next 2 years, but maybe not at the pace that the market expects, but he certainly will be. He came out and said the next move will be up, it won't be down. So being long pound, short euro makes sense. Is there an entry in here? No. Is there an exit here? No. There seems to be a bit of support resistance across here around 74, 74.50 sort of area. You'd have if you're short, you'd have your stop above that. It will cycle. Nothing goes in one direction all the time. It will cycle, so you will get opportunities. You could look at opportunities in a shorter time frame. This is when Carney was talking last night. Obviously, that creates an issue in getting into a trade, but you will find some cyclicity to be able to participate in that. You're the pound Kiwi, yeah. I noticed you went in that on quite a large lot size and dusted a fair bit of cash, and then you went back in again. There's a lesson in lot size, having a correct lot size on, I would suggest. And you seem to be long. Look, I like being long pound. My concern here is you're in a range. If the New Zealanders do cut rates, and there's a high possibility of doing that, they've gone from a hawkish stance to a neutral stance. The next position would be to a dovish or bearish stance, dovish stance to actually lowering rates. So that would make this trade appear good. However, huge resistance here, and so personally, I'd like to see a cycle above that before I get involved. Told you that I'm busy. Why do you call? Yeah, look, I think it's a lower probability trade. Getting in here, getting in down here, getting in down here is okay. Getting in up here is a lower probability of a successful trade. You could look at the shorter time frames as a potential opportunity. Getting into it ahead of um, the BOE, I think was a bit reckless. But you're in the trade, and it's doing all right. And if you come in here, somewhere in here, or even in here, and you're targeting that resistance level, your risk reward is okay. Otherwise, on the daily, there's nothing that would suggest an entry, and I would not be looking at it because there's a huge resistance, as you can see. Even if we go to the monthly, if it breaks through that, great, go with it. You get a cycle and a retest of that level. That's all right. And it could well be going back up to 3. But yeah, I'd prefer to wait to see it break through that than try and risk money in pushing it through. Based on the weekly, check daily 4-hour what? Before entering. Oh, okay. Check daily, and the 4-hour buy stop was and sell. Okay, so you went in on the 4-hour. Right out. I don't know exactly where you got in. I just saw the account was hit for a bit, so I don't know where you got in or what stopped you out and why you got back in again. As I said, there was a potential setup here, a potential setup there. There's maybe something in here. Even off here though, you're getting lower highs, so that'd be you'd be asking yourself, am I really going to get this as a successful trade? And perhaps not. It's not something I would have looked at, but. Morning, Andrew. Pound. Did you see the pullback to 153.53 as a trade long, looking at like a 60-minute trade? The pound. On the hourly. I wasn't really looking at the pound. I did trade the 4-hour on it a while back. I can't even remember where I got in. Might have been in here, I think. But I was waiting for the BOE to come out before having another look at it. Didn't want to get caught in any volatility that may have sort of taken us out. A lot of the commentary prior to the BOE inflation report was that it was going to be dovish. I got an email from Macquarie Bank saying it was going to be hawkish. And so that sort of differing of opinions leads me to believe that I should stay out until the news is over. We now have a bit of resistance line across here, and I'll be looking to get a return to that to get in, to go long. I do believe it's coming up to the sort of 155 area, and have said that before. And where it'll go from there, I don't know, but it's that'd be where I'd target if I can get in on a 1-hour entry, risking sort of 50 pips, targeting 200. That's okay for me. 1% a week is all right. I'm happy with 1% a week. Right, please, can you give us your thoughts on the dollar yen, 4-hour long dollar yen, 4-hour short Aussie dollar, and 4-hour long dollar CAD? All on pullback overnight, but all is still in trend continuation phase 1. Thoughts? I was in the dollar yen when they unexpectedly friggin' announced it about 5 o'clock last night. The Muppets. Yeah, I was in the dollar yen, and then this happened. I do believe that the yen weakness is going to continue, and I do believe the US dollar strength is going to continue, despite. Look, this the announcement that I saw was I've only seen it in this in here. I went searching for it, wondering why it dropped 180 pips and stopped me out, the bastards. And I only saw a headline in here that suggested the Bank of Japan is not going to be doing. Yeah, as counterproductive. That's all I could find, and it's just a single headline. No one else is talking about it. So, um, been a flash crash, but they all happen at the same time, and I think this is just bullshit. Um, I think it was more about at that time, if we look at it in terms of against all the other pairs, all the other majors, right? So I'll get rid of all of these. I think it was more to do with Putin and Sweden, because it all came out at roughly around the same time. Um, and if we go down to the 4 hours of all of those, and we see that the movement was all the same bar. Um, yen, CAD, it2, Brutus. We can see there, and so as a rollout of the US dollar. Yeah. And then the Bank of England sort of carried on with it a couple of hours later. So to answer your question, yeah, this is great. This pullback allows us to get in on, if we're looking at the daily time frame. We have a trend. This is a reversal bar granted, but as I always say, selling in an uptrend gives us an opportunity in the shorter time frame. So the question is, do you want to be long this? Well, yeah, I do. It's broken out of this. If you like your friggin' trend lines, it's broken out of that. It's come back and retested it. You've got a horizontal level that it's come back. We've got this support level. It's come back and closed above that. Even on the daily, it's breaking out of that. You're looking at it. That's why I went in on the hourly off here and turned it into a 4-hour trade. I need to get stopped out. Made money, but freaking annoying. Wasn't expecting there. I was actually hoping for it to stop here when this was happening before the BO that announcement. I was hoping to get in here, but did not. Now, yeah, look, you got a support level that's the market's moving from. Get rid of this trend line. You got a support level. Yep. You got Fibonacci if you go from there, but even if you say, let's go from this move here. The 50 fib is offering good support. If we say, well, that's the cycle there. The 786 is good support. We've now got this selling starting to reverse with a bullish bar on. Yeah, it's inside, but followed by this bar. This bar's got what's that? It's only 50 minutes old. So 54 minutes old, so it's got three hours to go, and that bar's finished. We'll be looking at placing an order. I'd like it to close above this. Yeah, so in the vicinity of about 1920, 1930 is your entry. You're looking about a 80 pip stop, 90 pip stop, and you could be targeting that previous high there. So 1930 to that is 240 for an 80 pip stop. Yeah, that's great risk reward. Yes, I like that. CAD's a little trickier in that you got the gold price going on. Trend line, schmed line. Who gives it? Sorry, gold. Did I say gold? I meant oil. You know, CAD is hugely overdone because of oil. There's a bit of resistance I see up here, um, and you could even say you got more resistance just there. Yep. It doesn't go back that far. Coming to the weekly, overdone by any stretch of the imagination. Daily, it's kind of worked off the bullish sentiment, and you know could go either way. You have 50, so there's just as much potential for upside as there is downside from this point. Bullish dollar, yes, you'd like to be bullish dollar. Bearish CAD, don't know. With oil price kind of stabilizing, to be bearish CAD, yeah, it's like I don't know. I'm similar to in this case to the knock. This, I mean, you compare that cycle to the yen 4 hour, where we've cleared a lot of this crap and clearly making higher highs and higher lows. The CAD isn't. I suppose it's making higher lows, and it's cleared that. Yeah, look, technically there is a potential here. I don't think it's as strong as the yen. Yeah, because you don't have the Canadians actively competing in the currency war and driving. They did drop rates, but they don't have quantitative easing, not like the Bank of Japan. So if I had to toss a coin, I'd go with the yen trade. Although the CAD one looks okay. And what's the other one you wanted? The hourly Aussie short. Yeah. Again, with that large bar here, makes it a little difficult. There's obviously a level here around 77.50, which it's fallen through. Macquarie have got their eye on that one. 77.50, it's closed underneath and fallen through. I do like being short this one. There's a commentary out there is saying that Stevens is going to do it again next month, lowering rates, especially with the jobs data yesterday coming out as piss poor. So being short this is a good option, and yeah, there's very little in terms of the way of support until you get down to this area, which is around just below 60. Oh, sorry, 70. It's around 69. 71. Sorry, 69. And there, yeah. So you might find some there, but most of it's down here. So I do like that one as well. All looking pretty good. Yeah. These guys, they really get nasty. If you ever read these, it's hilarious. They start abusing each other. Oh dear. None of them really know what they're friggin' talking about anyway. Yeah. So with all the with those three 4 hour trades, you need to be waiting for those bars to finish. That one, that's in the middle of mess. Leave it alone. But yeah, you need to wait for the bars to close before making that commitment to the trade and seeing that the sentiment's still there. Was going well last night, so I added to it. It was a mistake I've learned from. Okay. There was a weekly trade on the pound kiwi. Okay. I sent you an email in a bit of a hurry. Current bar will take it out of the previous range. Also, a big bar took resistance off from the 50 Aussie. Yeah, I can't show you your analysis. You've embedded the email, but yeah, just talking about it. So there's this 77.50 level, which is a key level for a lot of punters or a lot of people. Oh, behave yourself. 27.50. Um, looking at the daily, it's not yet overdone. Sort of got a bit close there, but there's still room to go on the downside. Is there a double bottom here? No, it's a higher low. So there's no divergence because this is a higher low. Yeah. So it's all still converting, and there's still room to go on the downside. The pound and the euro are going north. Everything else is getting weaker against the US. The pound, understandably. So, quite literally, there may be better opportunities in the crosses in the terms of looking at the pound Aussie or the euro Aussie. But that said, the Aussie dollar itself is looking reasonably strong as a new short trade on the 4-hour. If this bar ends as a seller bar at the end of the another 3-hour time. Okay. However, let's have a look at the pound Aussie. I know Mr. Duffy sent out a note saying if it breaks through this, it's on for young and old. Get long, and he wasn't wrong. There's your support, and unfortunately I was waiting for it to come back to that. I didn't trade the breakout, and it was here. I was waiting for it. I can't remember what that was, but this was as Carney was about to talk. I was hoping it would come down here, and I could get a swing on that. That hasn't happened yet. We might see that. And don't talk to me about train tracks. I don't know what train tracks are, but I'd like to see it come down here and get on board if I can, because this is going to back up into here. You would have thought certainly to 2.5, if not, they'd love it up there, but certainly around this area here, sort of 24, 20, between 23 and 25, or $2.30, $2.50. It's just a matter of finding the right opportunity and the right entry to participate in that. Okay, you've got massive divergence in the UK economy and their growth and rising rates compared to us. So it all makes sense. Okay. So Helen, did I answer your question in this one? Mark says no new trades, lots of sideways action, some nice US dollar strengthening. He's still long the Mexican, Sing and China. Okay, well, that's all good. Yeah, so guys, I mean, if this ends in an engulfing bar, a bit like that Kiwi Sing, you've got to wait for this bar to finish before starting to get involved. And you've got to see the sentiment in there and then be going with it. Okay. That's about us done for the week. Been a long week. Successful week, but a long week. You guys got any other questions? Otherwise, I might sign off and for the week. We'll watch the charts. All right, Karen. Yeah, Euro knock. I do think Euro might bounce or is bouncing, and we'll see a bit of a run north. Just with that target, I don't know about it because I'm not so certain of the knock side. And Andrew, mate, yeah, those 4 hours. You'll be heavily, if you take all three. Remember, you'll be heavily US dollar exposed. Not a major issue there, I don't think, but I'd be looking at the stronger one, which is probably the yen at this stage. The reason why I say that is because the euro and the pound are rallying. Aussie, you got Glenn Muppet Stevens talking right now, or has been for the last half hour, and so definitely wait for that to settle down and look at this one, the Aussie, in the next 3 hours. Yeah. What do you think of the Swiss retracement on all the charts? Is it likely to retrace all the way? Yeah. Yeah. When it happened, very, I said that it's overreacted, but the Swiss, you don't want to own Swiss dollars because it costs you money to have Swissy. So this overreaction was always going to come back. It was a matter of finding the right opportunity or time to get in, because it costs you money to hold them. They've got negative deposit rates. Sent a few companies broke, and a few people broke. The Swiss National Bank did. I dare say that Thomas Jordan is not going to be very be better stay in the homeland rather than travelling, because he'll get shot if he goes to a certain number of countries. Yeah, it's going to come. Will it find resistance here? I don't think so. I think it'll eventually carry on and make higher highs. The US dollar is certainly strong, and the Swiss, as I said, you don't want to own them because it costs you money. So there's no point in buying Swiss, and i.e. selling this, buying Switzerland. And even with capital index, I dare say, um, the swap rate would be highly against you. Yeah, it's negative both sides. I don't know what it actually is, but it'd be negative to be short this for certain. And in terms of other pairs, that'll all be the same. Yeah, whatever the trend was before that happened, it'll make its way back to it over time. Pound Swiss. Well, that wasn't really in a trend, that was just range bound. The nicest one was the CAD Swiss, which just in an uptrend and then went range bound for a bit. But if we can see it was downtrend, uptrend, range bound. Hard to tell when it's range bound what the new direction will be. I'd prefer to be kind of leaning towards being long CAD than short it against the Swiss. Yeah. Does that make sense? Too risky to sell the Swiss on the crosses? You've got to find a strong reason to sell the Swissy against any cross. So, for example, this one here is selling the Swiss, is buying this. Is this ring low worth buying? Well, there's more upside to come left over in this in the momentum, but is this a strong support level to have my stop underneath? You need to go in and have a look what's going on. There's certainly a big support there that it bounced off. Yeah, maybe that is a strong enough support. I'd be sort of looking at maybe those there and saying, yeah, we're closed above that. Potentially you could look at what's that, a 200 pip stop to maybe this here is 700, or if you look at this low here, that low there is 300, so that's 1.5. Yeah. No, I don't think it's too risky to sell the Swiss. It's just a matter of finding the right opportunity and being patient, waiting for that. What do you think about the Swiss yen? Swiss yen. Sell the Swiss yen. Hasn't got back to this support level yet. Again, why would you want to own Swiss dollars? Why would you want to own yen? This is a battle of the weaker currency. Bank of Japan seems to have bigger pockets. Read an article. Is the reason why they have bigger pockets is because their borrowing costs are bugger all. So they pay almost zero interest to borrow the funds to go and create quantitative easing. Swiss National Bank doesn't have that luxury. So perhaps the yen is the weaker currency, and the trade would be to buy this, counterintuitive as that is. But right now, um, that unwinding of that yen overnight hasn't really given you much of an opportunity, except for maybe there's a little support level here that you could look to go long from. Uh, get a little rush up here on the 4 hour. Uh, might be something in that. Yeah, central banks. They either make you or break you. Depends on which side of the market you're on. Yeah, that looks all right. Yeah, fundamentally, as I said, it's probably you'd want to be on the counterintuitive as buying Swiss dollars is. You'd want to be on the long side because the yen's a weaker currency. Right, I'm signing off for the week. You guys have a good weekend. Enjoy your Valentine's Day if you believe in that commercial bullshit. Um, and I'll speak to you on Monday. What is exciting this weekend is the rugby's back. I've got some real sport to watch for the week. And yeah, all right, guys, enjoy. Um, and yeah, I'll enjoy my rugby. Don't worry. Watching the Reds tonight and the Waratahs on Sunday. Thanks, guys. Have a good one. I'll chat on Monday.